Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So for this tutorial I'll be making use of 1 yard of Ankara. So I'm going to be cutting out 1 yard from here for this style, and we also be needing our scissors, our tape, our chalk. Where's my chalk? And I want to use this opportunity to remind you of our online class, that is the registration that is ongoing. Please do well to send a message to WhatsApp number, or for registration and for inquiry. We have different packages. So let's go ahead and fold this fabric. And so please, this is 1.5 yard, not 1 yard. So we're going to be marking at the label, and also I left about 1/2 inch away from that, from the edge of the fabric, so that we'll be able to add our stitching allowance at the shoulder area. So once I'm done with that, we're going to go ahead and mark the length of this top. So I have my measurements here. So for the length of it, my is, please don't have to measure your child so that you'll be sure of the measurement. Mine is 14 inches. Then I'm adding 2 inches stitching allowance to it. I'll mark this line straight. So what we folded here, I folded my bust measurement divided by 4 plus my sleeve length. Remember, this sleeve length, it will be around here. So that's what I have here. So my shoulder measurement divided by 2, shoulder measurement divided by 4 plus my sleeve length. That's what I have here. So we are going to go ahead and continue this. So the next thing I'm going to be marking is my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 6.5 inches. Then from there, I'm going to go ahead and mark the length of my sleeve. So this is our shoulder measurement. Then I'll go ahead and mark the length of my sleeve, and the length of my sleeve is 12 inches. Then I'm adding 2 inches stitching allowance to it. So this is what we have. I'll go ahead, I just hope you guys can see it. I'll go ahead and connect this line. So this is what we have. Then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and mark my shoulder slope, which is 0.75, and then I'll connect it all the way to the shoulder. So once we are done with that, we are going to go ahead and mark our round sleeve opening. And for this round sleeve, my round sleeve is 10 inches. So I'm going to be adding, so 10 inches divided by 2 is 5. So I'm going to be, this is 5 plus 3.5 inches. So 3 inches is for allowance. It's a big sleeve. Then the 1/2 inches for my stitching. So this is what we have as 3.5 inches. I'm sorry it was out of the camera. So just like I mentioned, I marked my round sleeve measurement, my round sleeve divided by 2, which is 5 inches. Then I added 3 inches allowance, 1/2 inch for stitching, then 3 inches for ease. So that's the line that we have here. So once we are done with that, we're going to go ahead and continue with the tutorial with the measurements here, so that I'll be able to connect that round sleeve measurement. I know that this is the front pattern, so we are marking just the front. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my neckline, and for my neckline I'm going down by 4.5 inches. By the time we stitch it down, we'll have 5 inches, so 4.5. And then for the sleeve, for the opening, for the width is, I am marking at 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these 2 points. So this is for our front neckline. So the next thing I'm going to be marking is my bust point. Remember, this is not a fitted gown or a fitted top. So my bust point is 7 inches, or let's say it's 7 inches because it's my shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus 1/2 inch for ease. But because of this style, I'm going to be marking at 10 inches, because it's not going to be fitted. Then at that point, I'm going to take my bust measurement divided by 4. My bust measurement divided by 4 is 7.5 inches. Then I'll be adding extra 3 inches for ease. Yes, that's how big it's going to be. And then plus 1.5 inches stitching allowance. So this is what we have. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to connect these points coming from the armhole all the way this way. So you're not going to look at how it's meeting here. So you know the way you connect your sleeve, your armhole, that's the same way you're going to be connecting it. So that's how you're going to connect it. So if you don't know how to just connect it, all you have to do is to mark this line to get these 2 points, and then then you curve it. You can also use your armhole curve to get it. Then because my bust measurement and my waist measurement is the same, I'll just mark this line straight. But if yours is different, please do well to measure your waist measurement as well. But because mine is the same, I'll just connect this line straight. Then for this point, you know there is a different fabric, or let me say they turned the pattern. Something was attached at the center. So I want my, so for here, if you want the band attached to the center to be 1.5 inches, so what you are going to be marking is 1 inch, so that you'll be using ½ inch to attach it to the fabric. So you are going to mark 1 inch just the way I am marking it. You mark 1 inch from the beginning to the end. But if you want yours to be about 2 inches for the band, you mark 1.5 inches and then use ½ inch to attach it. I hope you understand this. Then when cutting out the band as well, remember to add ½ inch to the band so that you have enough allowance to attach it. So guys, for the back pattern, we were supposed to cut out the back pattern before we cut out this center. So I'll just replace it this way. You know, the back one wouldn't have this at the front part, so that's why I replaced it. So we are going to go ahead and trace out, and there's no zipper allowance, and trace out all this. Then for the neckline, for the width of the neckline, remember I'll just mark it here, and then by the time we are done cutting this out, we're going to go ahead and do justice to the neckline. So guys, this is what we have. So I'll just take out the front pattern and the neckline. For the front neckline, this is our measurement. I don't know if I'm the only one that keeps looking for my chalk, so let me write it more visible. So this is our neckline, and for the depth of the neckline, back neckline, I am marking I am using 1.5 inches. So I'll connect it. But because this that center piece that we marked, that thing we marked at the front one, will also extend to the back. So I'm going to be marking 2 inches from this neckline, not from the end from this neckline. So I'm not 2 inches all around. So guys, this is what we have. If you open it up, this is what it's going to look like. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to bring in my front bodies, and then we're going to be placing it front facing front, and then I'll stitch by ½ inch. Remember we left ½ inch here, and I'll also do the same thing for this other sleeve. I'll stitch it all to the end. Then to cut out the pocket that will be here, I don't know what to call it, like here, I'll go ahead and mark we are marking 1.5 inches because we are going to be using ½ inch to attach this center. I have to add ½ inch here to attach that that center, whatever we are going to. So I'll mark 1.5 inches, then I'll measure from that point all the way to 6 inches. So I have 6 inches. So we are going to be cutting out 6 inches pocket, and the length of it, I want it to be about 7 inches or 8 inches. So 6 by 7 or 6 by 8. So guys, this is what we have after I was done. So I have 2 pieces on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do front facing front, and I'll stitch all the way. I'll leave about 2 inches to turn it to the right side. So this place you're going to be leaving open should be where you're going to attach to the fabric. So guys, I've gone ahead to turn this to the right side. So this opening, I'll just stop stitch it, or you can just leave it this way. When you want to attach it to the fabric, you will stop stitch immediately. So this is the 2. Then for our bodies, or for our top, this is what we have. So this is our shoulder. I've stitched it on both sides. So this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to putting these two shoulder lines together, and then I'm going to make a notch. I'm going to make a notch at the center. So I made a notch here, so I'm going to be measuring from that place all the way to the other side. So I have 24 inches. So I'm going to be cutting out a fabric of unfold. We are going to be having, remember we took out 2 inches, so I'm going to be adding ½ inch stitching. We took out 2 inches, that means ½ inch for stitching, but I'm going to be adding extra ½ inch because we didn't add ½ inch on the bodies. So if you add yours, just cut out the fabric of 2 inches and then attach it with ½ inch, and you have 1.5 inches left. I hope you understand this. So guys, this is what we have. So it's unfold. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in our top. I'm bringing down top. Start from the hem, and then I'll fold my fabric into 2. I'm going to place it this way from the hem, and I'll stitch all the way to here. Remember how to, once you get here, you raise up your pin, and then your footer, turn it, and then you continue all the way around. Once you are done with that, you're going to go ahead and fold in our sleeve. You're going to fold in our sleeve and stitch it down. So guys, this is what we have after we are done. I wanted this to be about 1.5 inches width, but because we didn't add allowance and is now 2 inches, but it's okay. You can see it's coming together. So if you are making use of a pattern, a fabric that has pattern this way, you can see that this pattern, this line is like this. I don't know how it's like this, but while attaching this, you can see I placed it this way just to contrast it a bit so that it comes out very well. So the next thing you're going to be doing is to turn this to the wrong side. So I'm going to be serging all this at the end. I'll stitch from here ½ inch. Once I get to this place, I'll increase it by 1 inch because this side is just 1 inch that I added. Stitch down, then I'll do the same thing for this other side. And once I am done, we are going to go ahead and hem this before we place our pocket and also fix this front place. So guys, they never took the light, so we are going to continue this tutorial here. So this is what we have after I was done stitching this seam side and also hemming it. So the next thing we are going to be doing is to place this way from the wrong. So we are going to go ahead and place this center piece this way, and you are going to be stitching very tiny on it all the way to where our neckline stopped, or wherever you want it to stop, how open you want it to be. So that's where you're going to stitch all the way to the end. This is what we have. You can see how tiny, I don't know if you can see it, how tiny it is. So let's turn it to the right side. So this is what we have. So this neckline, I think I'm going to be opening it up more to come down a bit. So for this, I'm going to look at this line, making sure it contrasts with this. Then from here, I'm going to place it this way. And then top stitch it. Remember, there's somewhere that is open. So if you've not top stitch your own at this point, then join me. Let's top stitch our own. So about 1 inch away from this center piece, we are going to top stitch it, and I will do the same thing for this other side as well. So guys, this is what we have. I hope you find value in this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, share my videos to family and friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching.